Crazy Quad on YouTube asks how closely my simulations matched with the real-life lab tests, and that's a really great question. Let's dive deeper into it. Hi, my name is Ed. I'm the designer of the TressSim Serval open source racing drone frame, and I recently ran a lab test where I broke 12 arms to figure out how arm geometry affects crash resistance. And I had a really surprising result. The lightest one was clearly the winner. Here's what I found. I ran simulations on 3 different arm shapes to figure out their maximum von Mises stress. In theory, the larger this stress, the more likely an arm will be to break. Then, in the lab, we measured how much force it takes to bend each arm by 1 mm, 2 mm, and so on. This is similar to a stress-strain test that mechanical engineers use to evaluate materials. Only in this case, we're using it to evaluate arm shapes. Here's how much force it takes to bend these arms in the y-axis, like you would see in a frontal crash. The gray bar is what the simulations predicted. The purple line is the average of the measurements, and the striped area is the standard deviation. And in my opinion, they line up surprisingly well. On the z-axis, the vertical crash, the deviation is much bigger. I think this might be because the arms are just easier to bend in this direction. Still, the lightest variant wins again. Let's see how much force it took to actually break those arms. Keep in mind though, the sample size here is really small. You can only break an arm once, and you can't unbreak an arm. Arm. Still, on the y-axis, the results line up pretty well with what we expected. The z-axis is messier. It's harder to draw a conclusion from this. I think we're seeing the same thing here as with the bending measurements. The deviation is just bigger, so if you have a small sample size, the results will be more random. To me, these results say that the simulations seem to line up pretty well with reality. And the lightest variant seems to be the best choice. So that's the one we're going with for Servals version 2.5. Let me know what you think in the comments.